We all have the power to change and grow. Reinventing yourself is about embracing new possibilities, setting new goals, and becoming the best version of yourself. It's such an exciting journey. So let's go ahead and break it down into steps. Hi guys, my name is OCHIJE SHARON. Welcome to my self-development channel. Today we're going to be speaking on reinventing you. I'd say the first steps towards the right direction is self-reflection. By identifying your fallbacks and flaws. Take a moment to assess where you are in life right now. Take a moment to understand the decisions that you made in your past that brought you to this moment. To see your starting point, to see where you were, and then assess yourself. How did I get here? How did I become this Sharon? How did I start this YouTube video? For me, it was me trying to be like everybody else, right? It was me taking all those IG photos and then making makeup videos, hair videos, whatever, because I thought that that was what was right. I thought that we're popping and we're in, that I saw on my social media feed without truly trying to understand me and who I am. So that's a fallback, trying to fit into the box without being my true self. What is yours? It's not just one thing, it's a list of things. Even in conversations with people, identify what about yourself you would have changed in that moment without dwelling on it, without making it put you in a state that is not healthy to your mental health. You need to be self-aware and identify your triggers. You don't have control over other people's emotions, but you have control over yourself. You have control over the way you react to certain situations. So identify the things that people do that trigger you to be this person who you do not like. Identify those things and try to be less reactive in that aspect, because a lot of times when people trigger you or when people do these things, they're doing it warrant a reaction. Identify the moments that trigger you and take your power back. I did say that we don't have control over the way people act towards us. That is true and false. If you hold yourself with a certain esteem, people can see that radiate out of you. Therefore, they would want to treat you the way you treat yourself. They would carry you with this esteem. So although you do not have complete control, but when you represent yourself well, people definitely get that energy off you, and then they sort of treat you better. Look at the person you are, start to imagine the person you want to be, and see the gaps in your behavior, in your activity, your space, and try to close that gap. I think self-reflection comes in multiple phases. Yes, it comes in the identifying your fallout phase, but you do this continuously and consistently throughout. You always self-reflect to think about something you're not doing right and something you want to improve on. That's the thing with growth and with glow up. You're always tweaking it. You're always changing something. It can always be better. However, we're not dwelling on necessarily always making it better or always trying to be better. We're dwelling on enjoying the journey. I think in self-reflection, a tool that will help you out very well is journaling. Write out the things in your thoughts, right? You just pour out your mind into a journal. Some people do it in form of gratitude. People do it in different forms that serve them well. The journaling for self-reflection, you're speaking to yourself. You're identifying your fallout. You're identifying the moments that you are triggered. Bring out the person you don't want to be. And you're trying to understand those emotions. You're trying to understand those feelings. Identify in what moments do these things happen and what triggers them in order to surpass them. In that moment where maybe that thing comes, you're able to identify it and be better from it because you know about it. You're educated on it. In your journey to reinvent yourself, you need to declutter. Declutter the things out of your life that do not bring you peace or joy or happiness. Declutter things that make you less of you. Declutter things that brings you anxiety. Declutter things that makes you overthink. Declutter things that makes you overwhelmed. Declutter your social media to people who maybe when you look at their content, you start to feel envious. You start to feel little. You don't feel enough. You don't feel like you've accomplished enough. Everybody is on their own journey. And if you ever feel like, oh, this person, although their content might be positive, it just makes me feel small. It makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. Maybe unfollow them. You might love them, but maybe unfollow them, maybe mute them, so you don't have that pressure on yourself. I'm telling you, comparison is the thief of joy. Clutter those things out of your life. It might be friends who do not push you to be better, or it might be your environment. A clean room is a clean mind. At least you can go from there towards your step of being better. But in self-reflection, reflect on the things that put you in a place where you don't feel like this is your true self actualized. I'd say step 2 towards reinventing yourself is creating a plan and setting clear goals. This is all about defining the why. Why do you want to reinvent yourself? Inventing yourself, who do you want to be? When I think of a Sharon who's made it in life, who I would say is successful, is accomplished, who is that person? What field am I in? What do I do for a living? You need to allow space for God in your plans to come and scatter things. I didn't think I would be making YouTube videos about being a better person. I definitely saw a different niche for myself. However, God just came and he did his thing, and I cannot object to that. With your vision in mind, it's time to set clear and actionable goals. Break them down into smaller, achievable steps, whether they're related to your career, personal development, health, or relationships. Break down your goals into steps. Your planning is in steps. It's in steps for health. I want to achieve this. In my career, I want to achieve this. I want to achieve this. A good way of doing this is in first person. I wake up every morning by 6 a.m. I like to do them not from who I am now, but who I want to be. That's already the lifestyle I live. So implementing it now would be easy. So this higher self I'm talking about, when you envision your higher self, try not to put yourself in a box. A lot of times it's all the steps that you write out for yourself, right? You wake up at 6 a.m., you do this and do that. Like I was speaking on how I wanted to be a content creator, and I just chose a niche based on all the things I was seeing, and there was no originality or uniqueness in that. Try to make it your own, right? Like when you envision your higher self, do it for yourself. Don't put yourself in a box because of your family's opinion, because of your friends, your partner, your kids. Dress the way your higher self would dress. That's a way of embodying that particular aspect of you. If you're struggling to identify who you are, then it's going to be difficult to plan or make actionable goals. If you're struggling to find your identity, here's a few ways that can help you out. You can take a piece of paper and draw a line. Think about yourself in a moment where you were happy, you felt accomplished with yourself. Think about the reasons why you felt these emotions. What was happening in that moment? What were the actions you were taking? What was your life like? Now think about your life presently. What are your days like? What are the actions you take like? What are your activities like? And try to close that gap in between it. That's a way of starting. The second thing is, don't be afraid to try, okay? Don't be afraid to try something. If you find out it's not for you, that's okay. You can always reinvent, you can always reestablish. But the thing you don't want to do is to be paused, waiting for the right moment. There is nothing like a right moment. I wouldn't tell you how to plan. I have sort of planned based on 3 categories: work on and work towards, the now, the tomorrow, and the later. I don't know what you're going to set as your goals, but I would also give you a little pointers. Implement physical activities. They release dopamine to just help our mood generally and to keep us in a good state. Nutrition. It helps our energy levels. So eat good food, eat healthy food. Sleep 8 hours a day. I have a timer on my phone and I make sure I get enough sleep. I actually love to sleep. Now I'll tell you, in planning and creating actionable goals, one thing you always want to do is to make sustainable and feasible goals. Do not occupy your to-do list with 100 items, and then when you only able to accomplish 2, you feel defeated, and then you're self-doubting and asking yourself if you can do it. Plan in accordance to your capability, in accordance to your time. In sustenance for these actionable goals and these actionable, romanticize the mundane moments, the moments that are truly simple, the moments that people would be like, oh, are you not just watching? Romanticize it in your own way. Pick up a glass of wine, pick up that juice, and just play some music and just let go in that moment. Just do it, and do it with a cheerful heart, and that will help to regulate your mood overall and make moments like that are so simple more enjoyable. Practicing gratitude is truly amazing. Learn to be grateful in the things that you do, and when you're grateful, do you realize that like more good things start happening? Learn to celebrate even the smallest of moments. It's okay to rest, but it's not okay to lose yourself in the rest. It's very easy to go back to those activities that we did that took us out of places where we were self-developing constantly. So it's okay to rest, but just don't overdo. Don't let people's opinions cloud your judgment, the good and the bad. So never forget your why in anything you do in life. I believe that discipline is very essential. I believe that discipline is equal to self-love. There's this video on Instagram of a guy, Jordan. He explained discipline in the most beautiful way, so I'm going to read it out for you. Discipline is the strongest form of self-love. Ignoring something you want right now for something better later on. It reveals the commitment you have to your dreams, especially on days you don't want to. The future you is depending on the current you to keep the promises you made to yourself yesterday. When we were kids and our parents would tell us to go to bed and we were like, no, I'm watching this movie, I love it so much, just completed, like, no, it's late, you have to wake up early tomorrow. In that moment, it felt like, oh, they didn't like us, but they actually loved us because they wanted us to get good sleep. They were ignoring something we want now for something better on, which was sufficient sleep to get us through the day the next day. I posted my first YouTube video 3 years back, and I remember I would try to upload once in a blue moon and once in a while, but I know people who uploaded every week and at least once a week, twice a week, even 3 times a week, and me and them were not in the same position now because they had enough discipline to see it through. I believe that when a person starts to have discipline in your life, they move different because they have self-love and self-trust, and they believe in themselves that when they say something that they are able to see it through. In reinventing yourself, you need discipline. You need discipline for your self-love. You need discipline to realize self-trust. You need to know that when you set these goals, you believe in yourself enough to see them through. And when the day comes that you're tired, when the day comes that you're feeling fatigued, you know that it's a temporary rest because you would go back to your goals. Discipline and consistency will make and will break a man. You can be the smartest person, you can be the strongest person, but if you do not have the discipline to show up every day, the dumbest person and you would probably not even be on the same level, because you would be lower. I am proud of myself because to accomplish my goal of weight loss, and this is the first time that I can say I have seen it through and see how far I've come, and I'm excited to see how far I'll go with this. So you guys cheer me on definitely, because I'm trying to show up for me. That's why I'm encouraging you to show up for you too. The final thing I'd like to speak on is embodying your higher self. When you're trying to be your higher self, don't put yourself in a box. Script it uniquely to you, to who you see yourself as. When you have realized your full potential and you have met your ultimate goal, all of your goals are complete. I wake up by 6 a.m. I go on a run. I'm writing this in first person because this is what I do. This is the life that I live. Speak the way your higher self would speak. Dress the way your higher self would dress. In your higher self, fear or anxiety will not control the way that you speak. You will not try to speak little less or try to speak overly, trying to compensate for your lack of self-confidence. Your higher self would be self-confidence. So in reinventing yourself, think about a higher self and embody that full. One thing I'm not trying to do is to motivate you and then you fall out of that motivation. I'm trying to instill discipline in you. I want you to show up every day. I want you to put in the work. So if you need to watch this video a million times, if you forget something and you need to come back, please do. Please do. We are trying to grow. We're trying to self-develop. So please do. Don't be motivated one time and that's it. These steps is every day. It's every moment. It's all the time. It's the little things. In conclusion, identify your 4 bags, write them down, reflect on the person who you are, and see how you got here, and think of ways that you can be a better person and reach your true potential, right? Plan and make actionable goals, sustainable plans, and small steps that can help you. Don't overwhelm yourself, so that you can continue on this journey. It's a journey. It's not a one-day thing. It's an everyday thing. It's showing up every day. Have discipline. Practice discipline and consistency. Show up for yourself all the time. Practice that self-love discipline, and so you can grow your self-trust and enter your alter ego, the confident you, the secure you, you know, and then from there you just flourish. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed every part of you. So you have to show up for yourself consistently, okay boo? Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. Everybody, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click thumbs up, and leave your comments down below. Good night and good day.